fire Q&A tonight, so give me just a second to get set up. I am only going to be reading the questions tonight, so if you do have a question, make sure you put some question marks or exclamation points at the end so I can see them a little bit better. And again, I'll be skipping everything that's not a question, and it's just rapid fire. At the end of this, I'm actually going to test a couple things out to see if they would work on the live, so we'll check that out. But I am set up, so let's get going. Fran Crow's in the house. Hi, Zach. My quail I hatched out a couple of weeks ago. We're doing great. I bought the jumbo mix one, which should have jumbo white, jumbo Egyptian, jumbo wilds, and the others. Possibly a jumbo white wing, most likely, and possibly one that I'm working on, but I'm really not trying to put those in the boxes yet. Barbara says, do you know why there isn't much info on Calico Quail? There's a couple videos on YouTube I've seen about Calico Quail. I don't like to talk about them too much just because they're kind of just they're pretty much the same thing as wilds. They're a little bit different, but I don't want to confuse people, and the look of them alone, I mean, the genetics is one thing, but the look of them are just very similar to other things, so I really don't like talking about. But there is some stuff on YouTube you could check out. I've not seen anything on Facebook. Psycho Ward 360 says, hey buddy, can I feed my quail chicken scratch that has seeds corn in it? And if so, should I give them grit? We actually did do a test run year and a half, 2 years ago, and I think it was just too much for them. It did not go well. I wouldn't recommend it. If you do it, you're definitely going to need to supplement stuff like grit in there. But it did not work out for us at all. The digestive tract just didn't mesh well with it. It didn't work for us. Again, we were just trying it. We weren't really researching it. But it didn't work for us, is what I'll leave that at. I had a question asked in the Self-Sufficient Quail group about identifying bullies and combining established breeder groups into the same pen. What are your tips for finding the bully? What behaviors to observe? It's a good question. There's a couple different things you can look at. If he is a bully, then usually he will have either feathers or blood around his beak, is one. Usually he'll be one of the only ones that doesn't look bad because he's the bully. And usually if you look into the cage more than like 10 seconds, he's usually alone. They usually stay together, they flock together, but usually the bully is always alone, and the only reason that he would go towards them is to bully them. And sometimes it's a girl, sometimes it's a hen, but usually it's a male. And then typically when he starts moving towards them, they scatter again. So he's usually by himself. Would be a couple of things to look at. Jasmine Bass says, what changes should be considered when incubating in the winter? Planning on chatting more about that soon. Humidity is low, temp is high in my house, using wood burning stove for heat. Yeah, usually just the insulation issue. And the same thing happens with summer. When you get really high in temp, typically you have to lower the temp inside the incubator because it's overwhelming. And then in the winter, usually you have to bump that up a little bit or insulate the incubator a little bit better. So, if you've got a hovabator or a nurturite, there's no reason why you can't put, a blanket or a towel around it to help insulate it in the winter. And then obviously you wouldn't want to do that in the summer. But that would be one thing to look at. I did try to post the new incubator video today, and it is taking its sweet time to download. So probably won't get posted till tomorrow, but I did finish up the Little Giant incubator review today, so check that out. We also have another video I already did that I'll post later this week, and I've got a couple of ideas, so we might be posting a lot this week if I can get to it. PJ's Farms on the house, welcome. I wonder if that trick will work for the Frigibator. It would. Because it's so large, your Frigibator really shouldn't need that much more insulation. It depends on how many fans you got. We usually run one extra fan in the summer, and then we obviously turn that fan off in the winter. That's something you might look at as far as your big one goes. You don't need as much circulation because it's winter. Glenn says, I want meat and eggs, getting everything set, cages, feeders, water cups, and fencing for security of birds. I'm thinking 2 breeder sets, 1 Italian and 2 whatever you want. They're all pretty much the same. They're all pretty much the same. I really like the Egyptian fees. I like the pearl fees. I like the fab fees. Really like the Fijian. But again, scarlets, rosettas, Tibetans, they're the most consistent layers as well. You really can't go wrong with anything. I mean, they're all pretty close. Yeah, pretty much whatever you like. I'm trying to find the next comment. I apologize. Does anyone notice the difference in hatch rate when incubating in the winter versus spring, fall versus summer? Wondering minds want to know. Yeah, there can be. You need to adjust appropriately. Just like you would change your brooder setup for summer, you would change your incubation setup as well. Which is why you always need to have separate thermometers, hydrometers in there, because you'll probably see that it's not keeping the same temp it was in the summer, spring, or fall. And when it hits really hot again, you're going to have to change it again. So yeah, there's some differences there that you'll have to check. Obviously, humidity is different in summer and winter, so the outside ambient temperature always affects the actual incubator, no matter what it is. But as long as you have those things in set, such as the thermometer and the hygrometer and things like that, then you can change that accordingly. Hatch report out of 30 feather sexable, 17 went to lockdown, 15 babies. Not bad. Thank you for letting me know. I will write that down. 15 out of 25. Did you tell me what kind? Feather sexable. Excellent. Good job. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate it. Good evening. Can I safely use 1x1 cage wire for the bottom of the quail cages? I don't think so. No. I think you're going to have major issues. They're going to fall through it. I mean, the whole bird won't fall through, but they'll get their legs stuck, and I wouldn't do it. One by half would be the biggest that I would go. And I do recommend 1 by half. When is the next incubator video review coming out? I was hoping today, but it's just taking its sweet time. I started downloading it about 4 hours ago, and I'm at 12%. So it's really not that long of a video. I mean, it's like 17 minutes, which is long, but it's not like this hour and a half long video. Like, I don't know, but tomorrow for sure, maybe, well, if it downloads, it's already pretty late. If it downloads now, I'll even post it tomorrow. So it'll be posted tomorrow. And that will be the little giant. Tomorrow we will set up the Incubator, and we will start that video for you guys. Andrew says, on day 20 of hatching Myshire Jumbo Wilds, 24 hatched day 18 and 19. Day 20 today, keeping humidity 70-75. Temp has been very stable. Anything else to do right now? They didn't start hatching until 18, which typically means a temp issue. I would raise your temperature. You're on day 20. I'd raise your temperature 1 degree and let it sit for 48 hours. If they didn't start hatching till day 18, that's a sure sign that the temp is just a little bit off. Just a hair. So yeah, I'd raise your temp. Well, you're on day 20. I'd raise it up 1 degree and let it go for 48 hours. But I do like your humidity where it's at. Dan says, when do quail molt? It really varies. To be honest with you, it depends on the environment, depends on if they're inside or outside, depends on if they're in cages or aviaries, it depends on what kind of cages they're in. I mean, it really does vary. Ours typically molt at about 4 months. No, that's incorrect. Let's see. 6 and then 3. Yeah, about 4.5, 5 months is when they'll first molt, and then they'll do it again around 9. Yeah, and usually we try to manipulate that a little bit, where the 9-month molt we actually extend a little bit before they start molting, because that's when we're starting to replace anyway. So you can manipulate that, but it really is an environment thing. It's not an age thing, it's an environment thing. Had Myshire eggs hatch last night, and today got to wait till tomorrow night to put them in my brooder. We'll let you know the numbers. Lively little jumbo wilds. That is wonderful to hear. Congratulations. Best of luck. And obviously, let me know how the hatch went, but good luck. Tyler says, when did you get your poop conveyor belt, and did you buy the conveyor with the cages? No, we built the conveyor, and I don't recommend it. We no longer have the conveyor. It was a great idea in theory, but not good for quail. It's just not good for quail. So we no longer have that. We have a whole new system in the barn, which we do have videos on, but the conveyor system was just not a long-term deal. I mean, it worked great for about 4 months, and then after that, it just kept breaking, and then trying to get it out, and then fixing it, and then the cost of repairing it, and then the time, and it just wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it. So I said, I don't want the conveyors when we move down to the new barn. If I have to go back to trays, then I'll do trays. And I said, well, why don't we just have it like slide out? And so we came up with what we've got now, which is fantastic. I love what we've got now. What is the best quail to start with? I am just getting started. Well, welcome, Patricia, and best of luck to you. And Savory Life is in the house as well. Welcome. Little inside joke there. Anything that's feather sexable would be great. So jumbos are obviously a big one. So jumbo Egyptians, I love the sex links, the jumbo sex links, jumbo wilds, which I'm out of stock on right now. Or we've got like a feather sexable mix where it's like a bunch of fun colors that will hatch out that are all feather sexable. You can tell by their feathers at 3 weeks old whether they're male or female, so you don't have to do a lot to it. And then they can either all go together, you can separate them then, and then they'll always hatch out feather sexable, which is always a lot of fun. But anything that's feather sexable is a great starter, no matter which way you go. What's your thoughts and experience with fermented feed? We don't do it. I wouldn't have the time to do it with all of our quail. I mean, we've got over 6,000, so fermenting feed for us is just not a possibility. I know that it saves on waste, and I know this, that, and the other. I guess it depends on how many you have, would be my answer to that. If you've got a few quail, then yeah, ferment your feed. I mean, that's that's good. But if you're gonna have 100, 200 quail or more, then fermenting feeds just, I just don't think it's doable with that many quail. So it really depends on how many you have. But if you've just got a small flock for you or your family, then fermenting feed would be fine, and they do fine on it. Jasmine says, how many zucchini and cucumbers can 200 plus quail consume in, say, a month? A lot. I am planning a quail food garden on paper right now, trying to decide on how many plants to start. A lot. They can typically go about, well, if you cut the a full cucumber. So we cut it in half and then split that in half. So it's in quarters, and each one's 5 to 15, 20. So 20 quail can consume 1 cucumber every 2 days. And it just be done after that. So 2 days, it would last 2 days for 20 quail. How much does reduced hours of lighting affect rooster fertility? Quite a bit, to be honest with you. It affects the roosters. I think it affects the roosters more than it actually affects the hens. So if you're not doing supplemental lighting, your hens don't lay very well, if at all. But the roosters just like take a hiatus. So quite a bit, to be honest with you. My nurture right ran humidity down to 4% less than a day. Did I lose my? No, not at all. Michael Riley, no, you should be fine. But what day are you on? Like, are you on lockdown or are you during the incubation process? If you're in the incubation process, then you're good to go. Not a big deal. You're fine. Just get it back up there. If you're in lockdown, it probably did affect the hatch a little bit, but get it back up and you should be good to go. John B says, are your sex-link eggs considered jumbo line? They are now. Very excited about it. The jumbo wilds are averaging about 11 to 11 and a half ounces, and the jumbo and the Egyptians in there are averaging about 10 and a half to 11. So I'm very excited about that. We worked very hard for it last year. Can crossbeak birds go to maturity only have one? Yeah, they actually do fine. I don't recommend keeping them. I mean, if you're going to butcher it, then that would be fine, but I would not use crossbeak in a breeding program. But yeah, they'll usually the crossbeaks get big. I mean, usually it doesn't affect them at all is what I'm trying to say. The question about the hatching time brooders. If the chicks are molting, the feathers catch the poop and clog the holes, causing poop balls on feet. I found I need to scrape it more than the rest. There you go. That is actually very good to know. So thank you very much. Christopher says, good evening all, back from New Mexico. Well, welcome. From New Jersey, did you happen to look at the IncuView incubator I asked about last stream by chance? I have not looked at it yet. There's one thing that I have to purchase first. I'm hoping to purchase that tomorrow, but that is... Oh, here you are. That is actually second. So right after I get the next one, that is the one after that. But I had quite a bit of requests for one before that, so I got to get that one first. I'm just going in order. But that is on my list. IncuView. And I thought there was another one. Oh, the other one's what I'm buying tomorrow. Do you have Starlink available in your area for internet? I do not, but I've got some big news coming later this week, so stay tuned. Thank you for the info on the Govee thermometer. It's great to just check your phone to see if the temp and humidity are okay. Yeah, I really like it. I'm very happy. I looked today and it looked like about 187 of them have been sold, which I don't work with that company at all. I've never even talked to them. But I'm very happy that a lot of people are understanding and getting used to being able to check and monitor their incubators. And it seems as though that hatch rates have been going up with newbies. That was one thing that I've never really mentioned before is our average hatch rate for last year on shipped eggs from all of you guys letting me know what they were. The average was a 75.65% hatch rate. However, if you do break that down, which I did for the most part, not as well as I wanted to, but I am trying to do better this year. But it looked as though that people that had incubated eggs more than twice, so if it was their third time incubating or more, their average hatch rate was actually 79%. Whereas the newbies was way lower than 76%. I think it was somewhere around 73. So hopefully if we can get the newbies to understand that they can't trust the incubators, hopefully that will raise everybody's success stories is what I'm hoping. Katie Bella Creation says, had a power failure. The eggs were in the incubator for 3 days. Threw a blanket on it while I was at work. My granddaughter placed hot water bottles around it. What are the chances for a hatch? Can't tell you until I know how long was the power out. Yeah, I need in the incubator we're in the incubator for 3 days. They were in there for 3 days. Yeah, how long was the power outage though? Finally got our Myshire eggs last Friday, and my wife put them in the baiter. We will keep you updated. Thank you so much. Well, thank you very much. Best of luck to you, and obviously keep me posted. And thanks for your patience. I do believe you got some jumbo, so you did wait some time. One by one is a no-go for wire bottom. Tried it, and it was a mess. I believe that the foot falls through, and when they flex to try to stand back up, the whole thigh and hip gets jammed and holds them down. Don't do it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking would happen. I've never tried one by one, but I would assume that that would have happened. Is their leg will go in, and then once they start flapping and freaking out, even more gets jammed in there, and then they're stuck. So yeah, one by one is definitely not recommended. Roger had some lying around. Yeah, I mean, the one by one could go on the outside of the cage. If you're putting it in a garage or something, you could use that while you have it. I mean, you could put that on the outside and the top, but definitely not the bottom. How long do you keep your breeding stock before switching them out of new stock? That's a good question, and it's kind of it's a weird one, so bear with me. So, long story short is what I recommend for you guys that are just raising them for self-sufficient use is the males switch out about once every 9 months, the hens about once every year and a half. We do it differently here, but that's because we sell so many eggs and ship so many. So we actually switch our males out twice a year, so every 6 months, and we switch our hens out once a year. So obviously, I'm not maximizing profit per quail, but I do think that that maintains and maybe even increases our quality for everybody, so that we aren't pushing close to that limit. So we do it differently than what I recommend, but that's only because of our setup. So hopefully that helped. So I'm getting my quail in March. There will be 8 females. I want to have them for a little bit, then introduce males because again, I'm new to this. Is this possible? Yep, that wouldn't be a big deal at all. You could do that, and then when you are ready, I've got a YouTube video that says introducing new quail to an existing flock. Watch that before you introduce the males. Or you can go to our website, myshirefarm.com, go to the blog section, and in that blog section there is a blog where you can read it and understand it better. And it says, the title of it is Introducing New Quail to an Existing Flock. So yeah, there's stuff out there to help you there. I ordered White Wings on the 8th and I haven't received a tracking number yet. Just curious if it will be anytime soon. That's 10 days. I would assume probably next week. You can always text me and I can give you a better ETA. But typically jumbos are about 2 to 3 weeks once you order to ship out. So you're at about 10 days now. So I would either say the end of this week or the beginning of next, and I would assume the beginning of next, but I really honestly don't know. I've got a lot of orders. But you can text me. My phone number is on the website at the very bottom with my email address. You can just text me the name that's on the order, and I can give you a much better ETA that way. The Savory Life says, oh great, well hope I can help, and I do. And do you pronounce the farm? Like, boy, yeah, I was literally typing an email, listening to a voicemail, and texting you all at the same time. It did not go well. I did a lockdown a day early. Will it make a difference? Not much. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. I promise this is the last one. If I have an aviary, what can I put on the ground? What do you mean, what can you put on the ground? I have an aviary. What can I put on the ground? I mean, you wouldn't need anything on the ground if you don't want to. They would be fine just on the ground. I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry. If you want to reword it, I can try to help you out. Andrea Perry says, okay, raise the temp a degree on my jumbos. I have the digital thermostat and 2 of those 12-inch turkey thermometers on the Myshire Amazon store. They should have hatched on day 16 or 17. With the jumbos, more day 17, 18, 19, but they didn't start hatching until 18 and 19. You're on day 20, so you're almost at the end of it anyway, which is why I'm saying just bump it up just in case, because you're pretty late in the game. honestly, I mean, I don't know. I'm not there. I would say your temp is probably less than a half a degree off, like not very much at all. You said your humidity is right where I like it to be. So really, we just raise it up just a lot just to make sure that it's not a temp issue. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was about a day late, but you know, it's okay. Um, thanks for the cucumber math. Not a problem. Michael Riley, day 11. Was that the power outage? Hold, please. Shoot. Don't remember. I'm very sorry. I know this is rapid fire and I'm going all slow. I apologize. My nurture hit, day 11. Oh yeah, you're fine. You're fine. That was the humidity drop. Not a problem at all. Jesse Jacob says, hatch report, Tibetan tuxedo, 82% hatch rate. I love it. Thanks for letting me know. 82% on the Tibetan tux. If by chance you could, Jesse Jacobs, if you're still on, could you let me know how many you ordered? And then I can do the math from that so that I can do it that way. Michael, I could probably look up your order too, Jesse Jacobs, in case you're not on. Thanks for all the great info. Does a Hepa filter or any filtration unit work to cut down on smell and dander? Honestly, in my opinion, not really. I mean, it would for a short amount of time, but there's so much that it's going to destroy any filtration system you have in there. The best filtration system you can have is literally a window, and you've got a fan blowing everything out that window. I mean, that's honestly the best thing that you can do. But yeah, I mean, we had talked about buying some air purifiers and air, filtration systems to put in the barn, and they're just so expensive that I didn't think they would make it. And then we made one, and it lasted maybe 3 weeks. I mean, granted, I've got 6,000 quail, but it lasted maybe 3 weeks, and it was just done. Like, could not support it. So there's that. Edgar Bates says, like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the support. And yes, absolutely, hit the like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. Jerry Hillis says, does anyone breed more winter hardy? I live in Michigan, go blue. Welcome. Glad you're here. And they're all pretty winter hardy. All Coturnix quail, whether they're standards, rare colors, standard weight, jumbo quail, whatever the case may be, they're all very weather hardy. All of them need to make sure that they can get out of the elements, whether that's rain, snow, sleet, heavy wind. They need to get out of that and into shelter. But all of them do just fine as far as temperatures. And that's -30 below to 115 degrees outside. They're very, very adaptable in that way. Is the first incubator you're getting the Chickenbator Mini Dome? It is, actually, yes. Someone requested that, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago. And I've had to purchase some other stuff for our barn, so I've not been able to get to it. But hopefully I'll be able to get to that tomorrow. I'm hoping, unless something else breaks. Whoever asked about the IncuView, I had one for several years. I did not like it. I had to keep stable. Good to know. Thank you very much. Cool. Looking forward to the next video. Yeah, I like the video. I think it's going to be very interesting to watch if it ever downloads. I have drawer liner cut to fit my Nurturite 360. Okay. And any reason not to have it in during entire hatching process, as opposed, no, you can have it in there the entire time. It won't affect the hatch at all. Very good question. Very good question. When is the video on screening of feed coming out? It's a great question. It's on my list, and I just got to find the time. I mean, I'm hoping next week. This week's already pretty booked. I'll be gone all day from the farm tomorrow. as I'm going to a university to drop a bunch of quail off. So tomorrow's pretty much a wash. I'm going to get orders out in the morning, drive there. That's 2.5, 3 hours away. So I'll literally be gone for 6 hours. And then, you know, the rest of the time we've got to move a pregnant pig up to the stall so that she can have babies. So I'm going to do a video on that. And then I've already done another video, which is kind of cool. Plus we'll be posting this video. So I've got quite a bit of videos lined up. That is a very easy, fast video. Hopefully I'll get to that next week. But when I say everything's breaking in my barn, I mean, dear Lord, I feel like every time I talk to George, you know, I'll be collecting eggs or getting orders ready, and he'll just come in and be like, we gotta talk. And I'm like, I hate you. And he's like, yeah, it broke. And I'm like, come on. So, I mean, cages and waters, and then we want to do this, you know, Gigantor video, and I gotta buy all that. And then, and then our brooder wire is starting to fall apart, so we gotta change all that. And then, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff that we didn't know. So we know now, and I will make sure we do videos on all of them so that you know before you waste your money, like obviously I do. But hopefully next week. Hopefully. Victoria, Texas is in the house and donated $5. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. That'll go straight into the IncuView, actually, because I think I just have enough money to buy the dome from donations. So thank you very much, and that will be put towards another video for you guys to hopefully help you out. Power was out for 3 hours. Oh yeah, it didn't even affect it at all. Didn't affect it at all. Yeah, so Katie Bella, you're fine. Don't stress about the hatch at all. PJ Family Farm or Michael Riley, I just have a question. So, heard that you can switch things around for the hatching time floors or pretty much anything. You can like custom one, which is cool. And I've heard that chucker flooring is better than the quail flooring for the jumbos. Is that extra, or is it the same price? I'm just wondering. When do you switch quail off 30% starter to lower protein feed? That's a great question. First and foremost, we do a transition. So if they're standard quail, at the beginning of week 8, I need to make sure that I start saying exactly when, because I usually say week 8. At the beginning of week 8, we feed them half starter grower and half layer. At the end of week 8, so at the beginning of week 9, they just straight go onto that layer, which I believe ours is 18%. Could be 16%, I can't remember off the top of my head. Whereas jumbos, we let them go until the end of week 10 on the starter grower, and then we do half and half feed for that next week, and then we change them over to the layer feed. That is a great question. Is that retiring the males 6 or 9 months after they are mature and breeding, or after they are born? It is after they are born. Wait, what? Is that retiring the males 6 or 9 months after they mature, or breeding, or after they are born? It is a great question. It is once, yeah, it's how old they are, not how long they've been breeding, how old they are. So ours go in at, 2 months, and so we'll usually keep those males in for about 4 months, sometimes 5, because we got to switch them all out. So yeah, that's a great question, but that 6 to 9 months is how old they are, not how long they've been breeding. It's a great question. Now, I would like to add to that, if you are not using supplemental light and they're pretty much taking the winter off, they will last longer for you. So I would take that time and tack it on. If you are supplementing so you get eggs and fertility during the winter, then that would be right. But if you're not giving them supplemental light during the winter, then when they start back up, they're good to go for another 3 months, or whatever the case may be. That was a great question. A lot of good questions tonight, everybody. Thoughts on 24 hours of light? Only have access to light on a switch, and I'm not around to turn the switch off at 14 hours. It is a personal choice. I do not like it. I cannot recommend it. George thinks it's completely fine, which is my helper in the barn, and I trust him a lot. But there's some things that we just do not agree on, and that is one of them. That's a hot topic. So we actually put a timer on that switch, which honestly is not that difficult. I actually did it. Well, he did a few, and then I broke one because I typically break everything I touch. And he was not here, and so I decided to do it. And it's really not that difficult. I think you could work it out. I saw a couple really good YouTube video tutorials, read the instructions, and it just kind of was common sense, kind of made sense kind of thing. So you could look at that. And that's what you do is you take the light switch out and you literally put a timer in there, and it's that simple. I would look at that, but George leaves his chicken light on in his barn 24 hours a day, and it drives me crazy. But he says it doesn't affect him, and they sleep. And I said, I just feel like that's a lot of stress on them. So it's a personal choice. You know, he swears by it, and I swear by it, so I guess you can't be wrong. Somebody's going to have your back. Let's see. Justin Rogers donated $10. Zach, add this to your Frigidator building. Hours now should be done this week, and thanks for answering all my newbie questions. Well, good luck. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate that. We're switching things around on this incubator, so I'm very excited about it. We're actually going to make it very, very easy for anybody to build, like very simple. It is going to cost us quite a bit of money to do, but if you're going to be incubating 8,000 eggs, then you're going to need to put in the work. And then we're actually going to be building a separate incubator, a little small one that we're actually going to be giving away. Very, very cheap. So we're going to show you how to do one on a budget, and then how to do a serious 8,000 egg holding incubator. So I'm very excited about that, and thank you very much for the donation. I honestly could use it. Do you keep in BIP records for in-state sales? No. Yes. I don't. Wait. Yes. I'm pretty sure she does, because I have to send her that information. So anyone that, anybody that we ship to, yes, for sure. Farm pickups, I still have to send them the information. So it's not as detailed and completed, but she does keep all that information. That is not my department, because I would not do it. Mandabello is in the house. Welcome. Patricia says, "Is your family feeling better? Do I need oyster shell for my quail?" We are okay. I'm actually feeling worse today than I have all week, to be honest, but I'm exhausted. It is what it is. But the kids are feeling much, much better. Jenna's feeling a little bit better, and then Jenna's mom is still feeling pretty bad. But thanks for asking. Do I need oyster shell for my quail? No. So you could if you don't have the right numbers in your feed. So what I would recommend is checking out our video about our feed. If you just type in on YouTube in the search engine, just type in quail feed by Myshire Farm. The first one that shows up should be a picture of a Klumbach bag of feed. If you watch that, that was when I just finished talking to a PhD doctor that customizes ours, and we went through a lot of information for you. And if you can find something that's in those ranges that I give you on there, then you wouldn't need to supplement at all. Tashka Tulsi, I hope I said that correctly. Welcome, glad you're here. On the ground in the aviary could be dirt, grass, leaves, pine, needles, wood chips, straw, compost, peat moss. Yeah, pretty much anything. I didn't know what you meant. I'm sorry. That's a great answer though. My quailer at work and I'm there only 8 hours a day. May have to get a different light and a timer, I suppose. I understand that. Yeah, I would definitely recommend the timer idea. I'm telling you, it really is pretty easy to install. If I could do it, you can do it. And I hate electric. I hate it. hates it. How delicate, sensitive are quail to weather changes if you keep them outside? They really don't care about the weather. They need to get out of the elements, rain, snow, sleet, heavy wind. But as far as the weather goes, like temperature-wise, they really don't care. They really don't mind. There's been a debate. I was told that Coturnix quail only live for 2 years. Is this true? What is their full lifespan? They're only productive for up to 2 years. On a big scale. I know people that have had a specific quail for 5 or 6 years, and year 3, 4, and 5 is mainly a pet. They lay maybe 3 eggs a year, if at all, and they're mainly just a pet after that. But yeah, so they can live. I believe the number is 6. I have never had one live that long, but I know a couple of my customers have, but we don't keep them as pets. They're food or sales or reptile feed or something. They always go towards a purpose. So yeah, they can live much longer, but their productivity lifespan is about 2 years. So that might be the difference that you were hearing. Maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna say it just real quick. I'm not too super behind. What is the darkest color you sell? It's a toss-up between Tibetan and Graufie. Both of them are really dark. Again, Victoria, Texas, thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. And that will go towards the InkView, I promise. So thank you very much for that. Before I go any further, on Sundays, we go live, and it's like a 2 to 3 hour live stream, and I read all the comments, we hang out, we share stories, we have a good time. It's more of a community setting. On here, I'm just reading the questions and trying to help you as fast as I can, even though I feel like I'm going a little slow tonight, so I apologize. I really am tired. But with that being said, on Sunday, I had mentioned that a couple people have been scammed lately. And that whatever you purchase, please do your research on. And that even means me. Like, make sure that you're comfortable with who you purchase from, because I hate seeing people get scammed. With that, I'm doing this specific live, the fast rapid fire one, to help a bunch of newbie people out that don't want to wait 3 hours to get their question answered. So that really is my focus on this second live, is to really help the new people out there. Now, with that being said, if you're not new and you still have questions, you're more than welcome to ask. But with that being said, please, I don't know how to say it without, please be careful. I've heard a lot of misinformation out there with raising quail or housing quail or brooding quail or incubating quail. There's just a lot of misinformation out there on Google, on Facebook, on YouTube videos. I pulled up 4 different YouTube videos today that said that you can tell male from female from the egg, and that is not true. That is not true at all. And there was 4 videos in a row about that, and it was just mind-blowing to me. So just please be careful where you're getting your information from, and just make sure it's verified by another source in some manner, is what I'll say. How do you keep track of all your quail? Breeding groups, who's from which hatch, not to mention genetics of everyone. A lot of work. We have a lot of paper. A lot of paper. Each cage has its own binder, and each cage has its own Excel sheet on 2 separate iPads that get downloaded to our computer inside. So a lot of the same information is getting tracked 3 different ways so that we know we're not messing up, we know what's going on, we're remembering that stuff, and it's all saved. So like if this burns up in a fire or I get a virus, like there's somewhere else where we can get it. But that's, I mean, when I say I work anywhere from 10 to 16 hours a day, I mean, this takes a lot of my time. Collecting eggs, writing down all the numbers, keeping track of everything, keeping good notes. I mean, that's very time consuming, very. But, it is what it is. At what age do you recommend processing quail? I recommend 8 weeks. I know some people say anywhere from 6 to 10. I really think that it's a personal choice, which is fine. But I like 8. I feel like 8, they're big. And from 8 to 10, I don't feel like it's worth the feed cost and the time spent on raising them for those 2 weeks for the very little extra meat that you get. So I like 8, but I would butcher some at 6, 8, and 10 and find out what you think is worth it. Because I really do think that is a personal choice. Cooney, I'm excited. Mine is due mid-February. Yeah, she was not supposed to be pregnant. I don't know how this happened. So yeah, we were not expecting this. But yeah, we looked out there 2 days ago and she preggo. So I moved stuff around today, and then tomorrow we'll move her up here, and it'll be a short video, but it'll be fun watching us trying to herd this huge, angry little pig, trying to get it up to a different area. I'm sure it'll be funny. My ground stays very wet due to a retention pond that overflows during the rainy seasons. So I have to build up the area they will be in. I need to be able to keep them dry. I hope that helps. Okay, all right. Honestly, I would just do like ledges and let them decide where they want to go. So I would just put, I mean, you could go as cheap as just put some pallets in there, Just put some pallets in there and leave some on the ground and some not. And then, if it's dry, they're on the ground. If they're not, then they're on the pallet, and it's not a big deal. Something like that. But I would let them decide. But something simple and cheap like that is what I would do. Good luck. Thurston Stout says, welcome from Kentucky. Does the meat as birds get older get tough? Yes, but not as much as you would think, and not as much as chickens. So like with chickens, if you butchered a chicken at 2 years old, there's no way you could eat it. Like it's not even a discussion, right? We eat our old breeders at a year to a year and a half old. So they are a little bit tougher, which we don't mind. So that's my answer. How long will it take for this weekend's auctions to get out? Depends on when you paid. If you paid on Sunday, then I believe everybody but 2 went out today. And then if you paid after that, well, the 2 that paid on Sunday that I could not get out will go out on Saturday. And then anyone that paid after Sunday will probably go out Saturday as well. So this week sometime. Michael says, that was me that requested the Incubator mini dome. I couldn't figure out how to donate on here, so I just bought some eggs from you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And yeah, the mini dome is actually next on my list. Let's see. And I never wrote down your name, so Michael Burton requested that. Thank you very much. And I do believe you requested that maybe 2 weeks ago. So I will get that ordered and make sure that it's here so that once my Incubator video is over, we start on that one. Let's see. What should you do if you have more birds in your freezer than the coop and run? What should you do if you have more birds in your freezer than the coop and run? Start having dinner. Start eating. Start eating. Zach added this figure. Oh, thank you very much, Justin Rogers, for the $10 donation for our Gigantor video, or our Gigantor incubator. We're going to use that, but we'll make it into a video as well. So thank you very much for your donation. I really appreciate it. If you would like to not donate, if you would like to support the channel, just hit that like button, support the channel that way. I would greatly appreciate it. On the hatching time cage question, yes, it is extra, but you can get the chucker cage for the same price as the price upgrade to swap the floors out. Interesting. So with the... Okay, Michael. So why wouldn't you just buy the chucker cage? What's different about that? So buying the chucker cage is the same price as just changing the floor out of the quail cage. I feel like a chucker cage wouldn't work for quail, but I don't know what they're calling a chucker cage, so. Do you use a chucker cage instead? I'm just curious. I think quail need at least some full darkness each night. I agree. First time on live. Well, welcome. We're glad you're here. Usually watch after the fact, just in learning process, Eastern North Carolina. Well, thanks very much, Kathy Daniels. Welcome. We're glad you're here, and I'm glad you were able to make it. Better Homemaking Network says I don't manage to catch live often either. Well, thank you very much for being here as well. I'm glad that you were able to show up, and hopefully you got some good answers tonight, and we could help you on your journey with quail. I have 7 young adult hens and 5 quail that are 3 weeks old and a little smaller. Would you recommend trying to put them together? I have 7 young adult hens and 5 quail that are 3 weeks old. I don't like doing that young adult, so I'm assuming you're talking like 10, 11, 12 weeks old. No, so I wouldn't put them with the young adults until they're minimum 6 weeks old. Minimum. But yeah, they're just a little too small for that. So that would be my recommendation. Why do quail eat poop? I think most animals just do that. Thanks for the feeder information. Thank you very much for asking. Tastes good. Michael Perry says, thanks for all you do for us newbies. With the sand bath down here in Florida, with the dirt being basically sand, could I just use dirt for the backyard for their sand bath? Yeah, you could. Yeah, you could. I mean, they would love that just as much, and it's free, so. I'm still using the 28% Game Bird starter. What kind of layer feed are you talking about? Just regular poultry layer feed, just wondering. You could, yeah, absolutely. Again, I would check that feed video out and watch it. But yeah, I mean, when we started just raising quail just for us, our self-sufficient use, we used a turkey starter for the grow outs, and then we just did a normal. It wasn't even a chicken layer. It was just an all-purpose layer feed, and that worked fine for us. For maximum production, you'll want to watch that video and see what you need and follow those guidelines. But they're not very picky, but it depends on, if you want maximum production, you definitely need to watch that video, and that'll give you all the information you need, which they're going to be able to. That video will give you more information than what I can remember off the top of my head right now. Sunrise River Quail's in the house. Welcome. I'm glad you're here from Oklahoma. I have some males that have injured their feet and toes chasing hens for mating. Males that have injured their feet and toes chasing hens for mating. They are on 1/2 by 1 inch wire floor. Do you feel that injuries like this are less likely in larger cages? Do you feel like injuries like this are less likely? I don't have that issue, so I'm going to say yes. But all I use is big colony cages. So I would... Oh, you know what? Actually, yes, it would be less likely for larger cages. I know that. I can't get into the reasons why, but I do know that. Yeah, colony cages are less likely for that to be an issue. My humidity went to 55 today. Weather today went up in the mid-70s and caused the humidity to raise a little. I took out the wicking pad from the GQF water tray and it brought it down to 51. That'll be fine. You're still in the incubation process, and I think you're still fairly early. I think you're fine. I wouldn't worry about it at all. Hatching Time said the jumbo Caternix will like the extra height, 14.5 front and 12.6 inch on layer cage. Interesting. Okay. What have people been scammed on? Must have tuned in after. There's just a bunch of scammers on Facebook. I've heard, and I guess I've been told that there are now emailing them saying that, one person actually said that they were referred by me to contact them for eggs. And I said, I've never done that. I will never do it. I don't recommend other breeders because I don't know their breeding program. So, yeah. So unless you hear from me personally, yeah, don't trust that. But a lot of people on Facebook have been scammed lately. You know, oh, I've got eggs. I'll send you some. Just friends and family. Never do that. You never friends and family someone that you don't know at all. And even if you do know them, very rarely should you do friends and family. Every once in a while we'll do a friends and family like an add-on sale. You know, like they've purchased and they just want to add something on. I'll just say friends and family it to me. But other than that, it's always an invoice so that they have a paper trail, and that if something happens, they can request a refund through PayPal or Stripe or the website or eBay or however. There's courses of action, but when you friends and family somebody, that's it. Like you better hope you get what you paid for. So yeah, it's a good question. Do you sell a feed collection? And if you do, what are the colors in the collection? Watch the videos this week, please. It was a previous conversation. People got scammed buying eggs. Yeah, absolutely. I think it was Sunday's conversation. It was. Just had an 80% hatch rate on the jumbo whites overall. Super excited. That's great. Congratulations, Jose Gonzalez. I love to hear that. I'm liking these 80% coming in, especially this time of year. If you're still on by chance, if you could let me know how many you ordered, and then I can do the math on that, I'd greatly appreciate it. But I did write that down, and I think I remembered your order, but I'll look it up if you're not on still. I spotted one of the scammers just a couple days ago. First clue was their advertisement for quail eggs, and the picture was not quail eggs. There you go. Oh man, after seeing that video, I was going to ask if you could send me female-only hatching eggs. Darn, so much for that idea, right? Could you tell the difference in tenderness if you butchered at 8 weeks and 1 year? You could. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different, but you put enough seasoning and grill them right. If you cook it right, it's not that much of a difference, and it's fine for us. You could try it. I know some people don't like it, but I think it's fine. You don't know how it happened. Well, when a boy and a girl really love, right? Yeah, they weren't together. I mean, I know that he got out for a while, but I didn't even think that she was around. That was not supposed to happen. My boyfriend watched the egg video. We had a disagreement. What egg video? I don't remember an egg video. Well, I've done a lot of egg videos. Oh, as far as the male-female thing, yeah. Peg Peas in the house, welcome. You talked about 8 weeks for processing. What do you do with the older birds when the production goes down? We butcher for us, and we eat. We would not sell those because they are a little bit tougher, but we don't mind. So we butcher because everything has a purpose. Or they go to a falconry association, or a falconer, or a reptile feeder, or dog feeder, raw dog food, things like that. Like, there's always a purpose. When are the auctions? I do them every weekend. I try to do them every Saturday, Sunday. It really depends on my schedule, but at least on Sundays, but I do try to do them on Saturdays as well. How do pigs get pregnant? I was just saying that they weren't really together. I'm not ready for more piggies. Do you ship live to Charleston, South Carolina for when I order my male birds? Yes, we do. If pigs laid eggs, Zach would know how it happened, right? Tucker cage is taller. It's called a pheasant cage. I keep my jumbos in the quail cages. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Our newbies turned 3 weeks last Saturday. Okay. Our night temp go down to mid-40s. Is it too early to put them outside in the aviary? Mid-40s. And today is Tuesday. I'd wait till Saturday. I'd let them be 4 years old. Make sure the light's off of them now so that they're transitioning. Once they're 4 weeks old, just put them out there just to be safe. A couple more days to be safe is better than to rush it and lose one or two of them. It's a good question. How did I? Oh, what is a chucker cage? Yeah, I would like to know what a chucker cage is as well. I didn't even know you could put chuckers in cages. I thought they were aviary birds. What do I know? Where would one find the auction egg auctions? I've got a Facebook group that's called the Myshire Farm Quail Egg Auctions, and I do them on there. I've had a dozen females and 3 males in my triple decker for a year, and I've yet to eat a bird or egg. I've been giving away 85 eggs a week local. That is awesome. That's awesome. Well, you're getting people to know about quail, so that's great. Congratulations. Older the bird, the slower you cook it. It's always a good practice. Yeah, absolutely. That's great words. Great said. What age can chicks move to 1/2 PVC coated wire without shop towels on the floor? 1/2. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, they're fine. Is Dale's on? Do you use Prince feeds? I have not seen him tonight. I've not seen him tonight. I do believe you can email him, and his info is on his website, dalesquails.com. But I do not know that answer for him. Freedom Quail Farms in the house. Welcome. Thurston says, okay, thanks, Zach. I'm going to go watch the video. Thanks for the help. I've been confused about the subject. Good night, guys. Thanks for watching, and hopefully that helps. And you can always reach back out to me if you have any other questions. Do bachelor cages with all males work? If so, must they be from same hatch or just same age? They can be same age. Doesn't have to be the same hatch. They do work. I've got bachelor pads. The best thing to do is to keep them separate from females as soon as possible. So like if you're getting sex links, you can separate right away, like day 1. If they're feather sexable, you separate at 3 weeks old. So by the time the males start becoming mature, there's no females, then they take longer. And preferably they can't see the hens. So a cage where they can't even look at the hens. But yeah, they work great. I usually keep 50 in each cage until we do something with them. Bing's Urban Homestead says, isn't fee lack of color? Yes, pretty much. I'm waiting until weather warms back up in March to incubate. I don't have indoor heat. There you go. Well, best of luck to you when you're ready. We are having a hard time keeping the humidity up, and the chicks are having a hard time zippering. What can we do to help? 80% the viewing glass is covered with condensation. It doesn't sound like you have a humidity issue then. 80% is real high. Like I wouldn't go past that. Yeah, it's a little high. And if the viewing glasses can, you're good to go. I wouldn't change it. That was out of 60 eggs I've received. I thought so. I actually wrote that down. Great. Anxiously waiting for the jumbo wilds. Does the size have to do with what you feed your quail, or is it purely genetic? I find it's both. Thanks, love that hat. Good night to everyone. Yes, it is both. Genetics play a huge role, but so does the feed. I mean, is it 50? It's probably 50-50. I mean, it's just as important. Just means more bacon, Zach. That's right. Hey, Zach and chat, I'm having trouble telling the difference between my quail, male and female, 3 weeks old, sex link Egyptian. They're dark brown and light brown ones. How do I tell the difference? The dark brown are the males. The light reddish brown are the hens. There you go. Older birds get labeled for stew, so we know to put them in the Instapot. Makes the meat nice and tender. That's a great idea. You'd be surprised how pigs breed. My uncle had the females apart from the male with just a fence and then connected through the fence, so there's that. Yeah, I'm telling you, that had to be what happened, because they were not together because I did not want them this early. So he's tricky. The Bellner Homestead says, we just had a great hatch. The kids wanted to open up all the duds. A couple were partially developed and the rest looked like a normal raw egg. I'm assuming that means they were infertile. Yeah, it means that they were either infertile or that they just didn't start developing for some reason. It doesn't necessarily mean that they were infertile, but that's usually the case. But if they were shipped eggs, then some of them, might have been tossed around a little too much. They couldn't start developing, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, usually it means infertile. Exactly, 48 hatched, 3 fertile, did not hatch. The rest never developed. 48. Oh, so 48 out of 50. So I know that I sent you 60, so your number is completely right for you. But I only guarantee what you actually buy because I'm more worried about getting your money's worth than anything else. So that I actually would put 48 out of 50 for me. But how you did it is perfect and correct for how you did it. You got, the 80% absolutely because you put in 60 eggs. So that was completely right. Thank you for letting me know. Debbie's Joy in Gardening says, hi, Zach. We have autumn ambers ordered 25 and hatched 21. God, I'm loving you guys tonight. You guys make me so happy. So happy. 21 out of 25. Schofield Silver's ordered 25 and hatched only 9. Well, that's not great. No longer happy. Were they in 2 separate incubators? I'd like to know. Chucker is in pheasant family, right. Hatching time has pheasant cages that are slightly taller than the quail cage. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Maybe I'm just off base. When we had pheasants and chuckers, they're flighty. Or maybe they were just flighty because we had them in the aviary. I'm confused on why you would put them in a cage. I don't know what I'm talking about. If it's not quail, I don't know. My daughter been texting you about the eggs we got from you. It's been the 19th day. How long should we wait? I think I just texted them back and told her to change some things and let it run for 48 hours. But I do believe I responded to that text maybe an hour or two ago. Sam Zadig says, I have a few solutions for cheap incubators experiencing temperature fluctuations. May I share them here or wait until a Sunday live? Either one or both would be fine. Do you feed cucumbers all year long? Yes. Just for treats, nothing specific. My wild jumbo likes small watermelon all year long. That's a great one too. They love that. Cold watermelon sliced an inch thick. Absolutely. Zach, thanks for all you do. Wishing you and yours quick recovery to full health. Thank you very much. If I were to order some SSC eggs, how long is the current wait? SSCs, if you ordered tonight, they would probably go out Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So about a week. 48 hours. 48 more hours as long as you change those numbers first. So whenever you change the numbers I told her to change that, and then it's 48 hours from right then because it takes some time to do all that. That was all of the comments for tonight. I am actually going to test something out real quick, so bear with me. If you guys could give me some feedback, I'd greatly appreciate it. So I'm just wondering if this is better sound for you guys, if you wouldn't mind letting me know. And then I'm actually got another mic that I left in the barn. That makes me so angry. I guess we'll test the next one out next week. But I didn't know if you would be able to hear me a little bit better. I actually, for the first time, listened to one of my lives, and I didn't like the echo that I was hearing. So I'm going to try these. I have another mic that I'd like to test out that I left in the barn. And then if neither one of those are better, then I'll just buy another set. But I think that the audio is very, very important for you guys. So Yes, that sounds good. Better sound. No, no sounds. Tiny. Yes, it's clear. Sounds better. Yes, yes, I like the other sound. Sound is good. A little canned, but not much. It does appear louder. Sounds clear. Sounds good. Yes, but might be a slight echo. Okay, sounds good to me on my end. Thanks, Zach, for the information. Later, everybody. It's a great time. Yes, it sounds. Yes, not as echoes. Zach, much better sound. Doesn't sound better, but this is still good. Sounds a little clearer. Either is okay. You sounded great on my end. Okay. Okay. Actually, I'll show you that too while I'm reading these. And thank you guys all for the feedback. I appreciate it. I'm just trying to do a little bit better. But look what I got. Look what I bought. So I'm going to be putting these on the wall, and they're supposed to help the echo as well. So I didn't buy as many as I thought I did, but it should help a little bit. Hang on, the earbuds make you sound like you're in a can. Okay, that's what I was worried about. Okay, that's what I was worried about. It seems as though that these, which were quite expensive, but I do use these in the barn, do well on my lives, or not on my lives, on my videos, but not on the lives. So I will bring the other one down from the quail barn. We'll try that next week. Hopefully I'll be able to get these up, and I'll try to get better audio for you guys. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I want to start using the green screen, but I can't figure out how to do it on the lives. I only know how to do it on the videos. So I might possibly decorate the back wall with cool stuff like the Quail Daddy's calendar, and then just move the green screen back and forth, which is annoying, but we'll see how it goes. All right, thank you very much for your feedback on that. I will not use these. We'll try the other one, which is actually a mic. So hopefully that'll be a little bit better, but these were more expensive, so I thought these would be better. And I meant to have the other one. Thank you very much, everybody, for the feedback. I really appreciate y'all. And okay, that is it. So I really do appreciate. Sometimes that is true. Well, these are a lifesaver in my barn. Like lifesaver. Like I can text while I'm collecting eggs. Like I'll get a text and it'll say, Zach, you have a text from Jasmine. Jasmine said blah blah, and then I can literally just text back whatever. Like it's it's amazing. All right, so while you guys are still on, let me just look and see. Oh dear, that's not what I wanted. I'm gonna see where we're at on the video downloading. So I'm actually going to be hanging up here as far as the chat goes, so I won't be seeing anything else. Again, hit the like button, support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. And are you kidding me? Okay, so it looks like it'll be tomorrow. Wow, that is. So I'll delete it and start it again. But I do have. I mean, I'm gonna be blowing up your YouTube this week. I've got some really fast, short videos. I mean, the incubator video is like 18 minutes, but the other video that I've already done that I'll post later is like 2.5 minutes long, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And then the pig video will be short, but it'll be fun. And then there's going to be another video this week that's probably going to be pretty short, but also pretty interesting. So I've got a lot of stuff coming your way. Hit the like button, support the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. I got some good stuff coming your way. And make sure you get the word out about Coturnix Quail. And if you would be so kind to maybe even mention Myshire Farm, that would be awesome. So thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you all. And until next time, stay safe.